Houston Parks and Recreation Department, and us, the Houston Parks Board. 50/50 was founded on 3 principles: park equity. Parks are selected and improved based on need and citywide distribution. Community engagement. Improvements, projects, and actions are responsive to the community and focus on existing parks. And long-term sustainable impact. 50/50 provides a multi-year investment for our park partners. And it starts a long-term relationship between the business community, parks, and the community. Slide 6, next slide. So as I mentioned, 50/50 creates a long-term relationship between park partners, parks, and communities. And parks were identified through a thorough evaluation process of park condition and population and equity metrics. A park condition assessment was conducted on 186 neighborhood parks. And I keep saying neighborhood parks, emphasizing that because neighborhood parks are between 1 and 15 acres in size. So those are the ones that we're focusing on. And the condition assessment that the Parks Department completed included things like safety, amenities, park condition, and accessibility. And these criteria and the population and equity metrics that the Houston Parks Board did were averaged equally to produce the 50 neighborhood park list. Next slide. So our park partners they bring not only monetary contributions, but also in-kind support, ideas, and volunteers. This is part of the founding principles of the sustainable impact. The total fundraising goal is between 30 and 35 million, and it's from both private and public sources. The Houston Parks Board and the Greater Houston Partnership are seeking to engage 50 corporate partners to support the program. Grimes Park is one of the 11 parks in the second round of improvements. EP Hill Park was in the first round, and it is in the Sunnyside Complete Communities, and the plans are currently in the works for that park. There will be more information available on that soon. Next slide. So just a snapshot of the first 2 rounds. Hartman Park, that's the one shown in red there. It has been the only one completed so far through the 50/50 program. It was our pilot. We opened the playground there in the summer of 2021. The first 11 that we're working on is shown in yellow, and those are under design currently. And now we're in the second group of 11, and we've circled Grimes Park there in green on the map. And that's my little synopsis of the program, how it started. So I'm going to turn it over to Ken Roberts with the Parks Department to discuss Grimes Park specifically.
Great. Yeah, one of the things that you had mentioned earlier about the flat work and the concrete improvement, that'll be areas where usually you have maybe damaged walkways or asphalt parking lots that are not in very good condition. And I think Grimes Park has several conditions like that, the parking lot in particular. Also, we'll look at minor building structures like the basketball pavilion. We noticed that there's a substantial amount of work to be done on that one as well. And then we'll look at the ball field perimeters and take a look at the fencing and things like that. In addition to that, one of the items that seems to come up pretty often is the playground structure and the tennis court. And we'll be looking at both of those as well. So landscaping and trees, we may add a few of those, but we've got a pretty good stand of trees already in this park. Also, we'll be looking at picnic tables and seating areas such as benches. We'll be replacing all the lights with LED lights, both in the pavilion and in the park. And there's a wide variety of miscellaneous things as well. And we'll be looking to you guys for some good information on what you prefer to see in the park. I think if you go to the next slide, there could be some examples of it. You can look at the playground here. It's in fairly bad shape. It's pretty old, and so it's a good candidate for replacement if you choose to make that a priority. Parking lots is not the best condition, and the basketball court, a good photograph of. You can see some of the rebar protruding through the slab. All of that's treatable and repairable, and we can take care of it. Let's see what's on our next slide. Yeah, these are some of the things that we would typically see park users interested in: the basketball pavilion improvements, playground replacement, exercise stations, tennis courts, and a walking loop is something that we're looking at as well. And that's pretty much a high-end summary of what we'll be doing. And I'll turn it back over to Courtney.
Thanks, Ken. So at this time, we want to hear from you, the community, on what improvements you want to see in the park. You can either type it into the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and talk to us about any ideas or concerns you have with Grimes Park right now.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to start. As I said, I am the Civic Club president for Sunnyside Gardens Abiola Estates, which Grimes is in. I've been a resident for almost 47 years, so I was there when that park was there for as long as I have. The last thing we received at the park was the outdated playground. It needs additional parking, preferably on the Noel side of it. It is used mainly for a football field. The baseball field has not been used for over 40 years, but it'd be over 200 school-age kids out on a daily basis doing Little League football season, called the Southeast Lions. We need update lighting. Each time it's a good wind or minor rain, the lights short out. They just been patching them for years. Picnic pavilion. The basketball pavilion, it was there when I was in high school, and it hasn't been very little upgrades to it at all. So that need to be fixed also. The tennis court, as he mentioned earlier, we need basketball pits, walking loops would be great. And also we need more signage and things like that around, like no vehicles on the grass, no horses, no ATVs, all that type of signage. But the main things is the parking. The parking is a big issue. It's very little parking, but the park is very well utilized, but they don't have the parking. Like I said, during Little League football season, you can go out there and it's well over 200 people at the park for the football practices and things like that. But we would like a football field versus the softball field, which is not used at all. Like I said, the last time it was used, that was used on a regular basis was in the 80s. Like I said, I grew up in this area. Almost 40 years now I've been there. So I can tell you pretty much anything you need to know about Grimes Park. The school, the original Grimes Elementary School used to sit at the back of the park on Noel Street. So that's what the additional parking needs to take place on Noel, and they can even wrap around to Carmen. But that's all I have for right now. Was I speaking too fast? Did y'all get most of that?
No, I think I got it all. I've taken notes, but that is great. Great to hear from you and great information. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Hello, good evening. This is Councilmember Carolyn Evans Shabazz. I'm running between meetings, but I wanted to be sure and let Travis know that information is very key, because we want to have the amenities in the park that the people really want to use. And so I'm very appreciative of that. And so I'm thankful that for having me to be a part of this listening session, and we are taking notes. And I'm very excited that the park is part of the mayor's 50/50 Park Partners initiative and will receive the much needed attention. We're trying to do some things that a lot of the parks, and so this is the second park in my district and the second park within the Sunnyside Complete Community that is a part of this important initiative. And we definitely must not forget about the neighborhood parks, which are heavily used by the communities surrounding them. And, we've had some different amenities. I was, really glad that we're really trying to do some things at Sunnyside Park as well. Because, if you've been in there, it's some damage to the roof and all of that. So we've had a few meetings to try to get that done. And so, since learning about the 50/50 Park Partners, my office has been working with the Houston Parks Board and the Recreation Department and Complete Community's office on this initiative. And I'm happy to see that we are now at the point for community input, because that is so vital. Because at one point in my life, I was an activist before I became an elected official. And I know one of the things that people often complain about is being told what they need or being told what they want, and not having an opportunity to really have any substantive input. So I sincerely appreciate each of you who have made the time to be here this evening. and participate in discussing the future improvements of this beloved park. And I'm going to again say you are the experts since you use the park, and we are pleased to know that this evening we will get your thoughts. So thank you, everyone. Hopefully you will have a great Thanksgiving, and we're going to make it happen. It takes these partnerships to get it done and this community input. So thank you so very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, council member.
Hi,
Hi
this
there.
is Sandra Manson. Hi,
How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm thankful to the mayor for focusing on our parks, not only in Sunnyside,
Okay.
but around Houston.
So I was able to get that meeting done. Okay. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so for years, nothing has really been done to help the Sunnyside Park.
Mm-hmm.
Grimes Park, I believe we need to expand the parking and fix the parking lot, as well as place amenities for families, barbecue pits, tables, canopies. I mean, it's been a long time in coming. Same thing with Sunnyside Park. The family amenities, more more facilities for children. Maybe the water park in both Grimes and Sunnyside. I know it's in a lot of other areas, but more things that are family friendly that will cause a family to come out of the ordinary and be a part of those parks and the facilities they have. I'm not sure if they added a walking trail at Grimes Park, but it has been bare for a long time. The other thing is, I wish we knew what happened to the monies that was allocated for those parks, because just literally nothing has been done. Nothing has been done, but more attention needs to be paid. Parking lots on both, expanding the parking lots, fixing up the parks themselves, more amenities that are family friendly, seating, barbecue pits.
Oh, you went on mute, unfortunately. If there's anyone else that has any other input, I'd be happy to take it down at this moment. Sounds like parking is a big factor.
Yes, the purpose of the field, which should be the Little League football teams they use mostly, picnic pavilions, basketball pavilion need to be updated, the tennis court, barbecue pits, walking trail. That's pretty much, but the parking is very limited. The lighting is very outdated. It's pretty much the original equipment that has been there from day one. So everything pretty much needs to be updated. And we need to change the baseball field to the football field, because that's what it's used for anyway. Football. It's been used for football for over 20 years.
Little League.
Yeah.
Little League football.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And water fountains.
Water fountains.
Right.
Great. Well, thank y'all for giving us some really great input to work with. If there is anybody else, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm about to go to the next slide.
I don't know if you saw it in the chat, but a specific pet area.
Okay. Like a dog park or?
Correct. A dog park, as well as those emergency call boxes throughout.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about. Those are always a great idea.
Bicycle racks.
Bicycle racks.
Yeah.
Anything else?
In the chat, there's also mention of a walking loop,
Right.
and I think the others were mentioned. The pet area, call boxes for emergencies, and water fountains.
Awesome. Well, on my next slide here, we have a survey actually that's going to be opened for the rest of the year, and share it with your friends, your neighbors, your family, colleagues, whoever you think might have some input on the park. You can go and take it yourself if you come up with more ideas, or if you just didn't get a chance to share them here. But the survey will be taking in input on the changes that you want to see to Grimes Park in the future. And we will continue to coordinate with complete communities. And so please do take the survey and share it. We want to get as much input from the community because this is your park. And we want to hear what you want to see there. So just use this QR code, just take a picture of it, scan it, and it'll take you right to the survey.
I'll also post this on our Let's Talk Houston page and send it out via constant contact to make sure everybody gets it in their inbox. We would really love to get as much community input as possible. So if we could share it with our counterparts or anyone who was unable to attend the meeting or to your networks, that would be amazing.
We would very much appreciate that. So thank you again for letting us be here tonight and taking some time out of your meeting. And if there was any questions, please feel free to ask them right now, and we will do our best to get them answered. No question? Okay, we did a really good job in our presentation then. So if there's any questions you think of later and you wish you could ask us, you can. Down there on the right is our email. It is info@houstonparksboard.org. It's monitored daily, and we will get back to you as soon as possible with any answers or with any answers that we can provide for your questions. And if you want to learn more about 50/50, down there on the left is the Houston 50/50partners.com website. It'll tell you more about the projects and the other parks that are part of this initiative. So with that, Lindsay, I will pass this back off to you and stop sharing my screen.
Thanks so much, Courtney. And if you could also drop the link and the those last two links in the chat, that would be great.
I can do that.
Okay, so we're going to move to the beginning of what was supposed to be the beginning of our agenda. I apologize and thank you so much, Houston Parks, for jumping in so swiftly. I really appreciate that. Thank you all as well for your comments and input, and please let's make sure we can share the survey and make sure we're getting out as many people responding and letting Houston Parks Board as well as our Parks Department know exactly what you want in your new park. So we would like to prioritize that based on your responses. So as many people that say these are the things we need, then those start to show a trend in terms of priority for the community. So as many responses as we can get, that would be just better for the overall cost. So I'm going to start with community updates. We've been busy in Sunnyside. Just in case you have not, letstalkhouston.org/Sunnyside. I usually keep any upcoming events there, just because I don't necessarily control what goes out via email and the frequency, but I do have a little bit more power in the Let's Talk Houston. So I try to keep that updated. Last month, we had a successful community cleanup. Over 200 residents participated. Worthing High School was also able to participate. You guys cleaned up 3 major sites. Oh, there's Mel. There she is. And now she's probably like, I'm sorry, I turned my camera on. Mel Young was the community leader of this effort, which is wonderful. She doesn't like the spotlight, but I love to highlight community-led efforts. Sunnyside is really great with having residents that have ideas an initiative and want to move them forward. And I want you all to feel empowered to do anything that you want for your community. And I, as well as the other city staff, are here to help you. So Mel, do you want to briefly touch at all on how the cleanup went?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining as well. The cleanup was really, really amazing. The turnout was more than I thought it would be. We serviced from Cloverland Park all the way down to essentially Reed and Scott with Worthing. And I think it was about, like, they tried to weigh it, but I think it was about maybe around 8 pounds of trash that the students picked up around the school and around Reed Road. And everybody's looking forward to the next cleanup. So, hopefully we can kind of span it amongst like Sunnyside, old, new, whatever the divisions are, and just really just clean Sunnyside as a whole and make this a reoccurring event, because I think people would be, willing to participate in those high numbers, and we can cover more ground with more people involved.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for jumping in on the spot. So if you want to connect with the Sunnyside Task Force, Mel, if you don't mind dropping that link in the chat to kind of stay in the loop,
Okay.
Or the website in the chat to stay in the loop of what the task force is leading and the efforts they have going on. We have plenty of ways for people to get involved. I even have an opportunity tonight. So there's plenty of work to go around. And these are just a few more images from the cleanup. Just wanted to make sure we highlight all of those. I really also want to thank the Councilwoman's Office, Department of Neighborhoods, Parks, as well as Public Works and LISC, who provided the grant. And there were also several other community groups that were involved that helped make this a success and tried to help really elevate the residents to take charge of this and move it forward. So I'm looking forward to this effort continuing. Also, is Teresa on? I saw her earlier. The community wellness fair went really great. If she's on still, I'm putting her on the spot. I'm on. Okay. Sorry. If you want to talk about it, you can. If you want me to talk about it, you can. But I just wanted to highlight the successful event that you all hosted.
Yes, the community health fair was a success. We had people who came. We had people from all of City of Houston departments. Houston Parks was here. Many departments from the Houston Health Department were here. We had flu shots. We had a raffle. We have actually 2 raffles, one of a big gift card and one of an air fryer. We had community engagement here who had games for the children to use. And it was a great time. We had a good turnout, and we were, for the first one that we had, it went really well. And I'm very grateful for everyone who participated and for our staff here at Johnson for being so open and so willing. And it was amazing, and I'm very happy with it. So thank you, everyone who participated.
Thank you. And thank you for leading the Johnson Library. If you don't know, Teresa is over at the Johnson Library in Sunnyside. So if you get an opportunity to stop by and say hello to her or take advantage of any of the amazing programs that they have going on, please do so.
And I just wanted to say that we are fully open now. We are open Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 10 to 6. Our late night is on Wednesdays from 12 noon till 8 p.m. And then Fridays, we're open from 1 to 5 and Saturdays from 10 to 5. So that everyone, so we are fully open right now and everyone's welcome to come. We have many resources for the community to use. We have computers. We have our staff is very willing and able to help in anything that you need to do when it comes to computer wise. Also, we only have one program at the moment, which is the story time, and that is for it's an outdoor story time, so we have it outside. As you know, Johnson has a big pretty yard right in front of Reed Road, and we have story time there, so everyone's welcome to come every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Sorry, I saw a few people trying to unmute. I didn't know if that was intentional or not. Okay. Also, we had a lot of projects that happened over the end of October from the Cactus Jack Foundation. The elementary schools were adopted and given Cactus Jack gardens in conjunction with HISD, and each student was given a small grow bag or grow box, actually, so they could grow fruits and veggies at home. And the HISD Go and Grow program is going to continue on with those schools, chartering 4-H clubs in each of those elementary schools, as well as teaching them how to cook the produce that they produce there. We had a successful ribbon cutting. The guy in the red, and I just wanted to show you all this, but that is Mr. Shipley of Shipley's Donuts. He is the heir to the donut throne, but he came down to the ribbon cutting at Bastion and provided donuts for all of the students there. We were able to cut the ribbon on the gardens. And there was also a book reading. Bastion Elementary School has a amazing grandparents program. If anybody is interested, if you want to go and read to the children, I strongly encourage you to participate in that. We had a really successful Cactus Jack Garden Volunteer Day. We were able to do 5 of the elementary schools on that day. Again, all of this information, it should have been in your email, but also on Let's Talk Houston, if you're ever wondering what's coming up, you can find all of it there. So we're really proud of the turnout and really grateful for all of our volunteers who really made this vision come to life. It was a pretty big feat, but with the help of Purposeful Brands, Cactus Jack Foundation, HISD, and Lowe's even volunteered materials and service, we were able to really make a huge impact, and hoping that these students will be able to grow these gardens and learn about the agricultural field. We'll continue this program on, like I said, and next year we also are going to offer some tours to Worthing's farm and hopefully do a small farmers market at Worthing for the students where they can sell their veggies. So be on the lookout for that. And is Monica on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. Sorry, I'm putting her on the spot. She was not, but Cactus Jack and Jordan of Nike held a small basketball camp at her facility, as well as redid improvements to the basketball court. Monica, did you want to speak at all about the camp and the impact that had on the community?
Sure. Hello everyone. So the camp was amazing. So Jordan and Nike, they flew in coaches from I guess different parts. They had some local coaches, but they also had coaches from like, LA and North Carolina, things like that. And because of the rain, we had everybody in the gym, but it was a great turnout. The energy was high. The kids had such a great time. I think there were some good takeaways. They learned some good stuff. So yeah, it was definitely a great time, a great event. The Nike staff was amazing, very accommodating, as well as the Cactus Jack Foundation. The kids had some grab bags. They were able to take out of the program, T-shirts, things like that. So we overall had a really good time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica, and thank you for all your help and efforts with that and making sure those things came to life for the Sunnyside community.
No, thank you guys.
And before we move to the next, are there any questions or anything else? I don't like to be the one talking the whole time on these meetings, so feel free. I know we are not in person, but anything you'd like to say, just feel free to raise your hand. Go ahead.
I'll, on the basketball camp, were they, that was just for one time only, or they gonna think about having it more often in the Sunnyside community?
There were talks of continuing it. I'm not quite sure where those conversations have progressed as of today. But they did mention that it was possibly something worth continuing.
And
I can
if someone
oh, there we go. Okay, good.
We are planning even things in-house, especially for the I'm not sure about the holiday break, but first quarter, January, February, March, we're partnering up with junior MBA. We're working with young elementary. So my staff, we're definitely going to try to keep the momentum. We actually had a small basketball camp this summer as well. So now that we're going to try to, like, with COVID protocols and things like that, we definitely plan on offering more basketball programming.
Would you need any coaches or any players?
Oh, yes, definitely. Coaches, volunteers. Yes, we definitely are looking for coaches and volunteers, mentors for that, definitely. And like I said, basketball, we want to do, baseball. We want to maximize that facility as well. But obviously, I know basketball is really popular, even with the kids from summer. So we'll definitely love to engage in those conversations with you. You can always stop by the park. I'm there all the time, or I can send my email information in the chat as well.
Please do. Thank you.
No problem.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, we've already gone over our action plan project, which was our Grounds Park listing section. Again, thank you to Houston Parks Board and the Parks Department. In terms of our City of Houston project, is Ramona?
Did you say Roman or?
Roman, did I find you?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yes, there you go.
How you doing? Hi, Lindsay. I'm here. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay.
Take it away.
You want to bring up one of those? First of all, let me introduce myself and apologize. I'm at home. We've got a couple of young kids, and I couldn't. I needed to be at the home here, so I just wanted. And you're going to bring up a slide for me, Lindsay, please.
Are you guys not seeing this? What are y'all seeing?
I'm seeing Sunnyside Community Cleanup. It hadn't advanced for a little bit.
Y'all, I'm sorry. You missed all of these. Okay, I'm gonna flip slowly so you can see these pictures.
Yes, let's do that. I'm sorry. I should have told you. I saw it there, but I wasn't sure if things should be advancing there.
Do you see it now?
Nothing moving yet.
What is wrong?
Lindsay, something happened on my end too. People on the screen need to click the tab that says to presenter. Once you click that, you should be back to where Lindsay is, if it's showing up.
Oh, you mean you're seeing what? Okay, so you're not seeing the Sunnyside Community Cleanup picture?
I am now. I wasn't earlier.
Oh, okay.
Do you see Blueridge now?
I don't.
Still okay, I'm gonna stop sharing really fast. I'll just hit the reset button.
That'll do it. That'll do it. While you're doing that, I'll say who I am. I'm Roman McCallan, y'all, and I'm the Historic Preservation Officer for Houston. I've been in that role for about 2 years. I'm a native Houstonian, though. Grew up out on the southwest side of Windsor Village, a neighborhood off of South Post Oak. And I now have a background in architecture and historic preservation. So I've been kind of really honored to come home and work on historic preservation for the city, which is usually about the preservation of historic buildings, but it also can be about cultural identities. It can be about archaeology. It can be about cemeteries and things like that. The reason I'm here tonight is to talk to you a little bit about some things that have been going on that you may or may not know about. This tonight specifically is really related to the awarding of GLO money from Hurricane Harvey. So the Harvey relief money. that now the Texas Government Land Office is awarding. And and again, I apologize if I'm repeating if this is something y'all already know, but the Texas Historic Commission basically told the Texas Government Land Office that Chocolate Bayou Estates and the Blueridge neighborhoods are both eligible for listing on the National Register of Historic Places. And the reason that you might care about that, if you're thinking about this government land office money, is that it changes the way they build, the way they're going to build or rebuild or repair houses. It means that the structures, the houses or buildings, but predominantly, I think we're almost all houses, the houses that are what they call contributing houses to those districts, which simply means original houses that haven't changed a whole lot. Those houses they used to have a cap from the GLO of about $60,000 that when the government land office, if they were going to offer assistance to somebody, if the house needed more than $60,000 of work, the government land office would say, we're going to demolish that house and build a new house. But with that change, it's going to elevate that limit to $200,000. And then if you hit that limit, and then you would still be probably demolished and rebuild. But even in the rebuilding situation there, you've got to rebuild a home that fits contextually with the historic houses that are there. Okay, so that's the main thing I want to tell you about. That the key news I'm delivering to you is that the Texas Historic Commission and the GLO have agreed that these neighborhoods are eligible for listing on the National Register of Historic Places. And as such, that impacts, it involves a federal law that says you can't use federal money and damage historic resources. You can't have an adverse impact without some remedy. So that's what's going on here. And now the Government Land Office has asked the Office of Preservation to help to define the boundaries. The map you see here, and I apologize that it's not very clear, but the map has some green lines, some bright green lines, yellow lines, red lines, and blue lines. The lower left side has the green line. The GLO is asking us to help define what are these neighborhoods? Where is the boundary of Blueridge? Where is the boundary of Chocolate Bayou Estates? And I know, and I haven't done work on this project, so I don't know what boundary they're specifically looking at. We actually had some emails about it, but predominantly we come to you to say, if you are familiar with the history of the neighborhoods, if you have old articles, old photographs, anything that could be, you might think should be part of a documented history of the neighborhoods, and please share it with us at the city, so that one, we can kind of define this boundary. Our staff, Terrence Jackson, who works in my office and also a native Houstonian, and a couple other people have driven the neighborhoods and looked around, and we've already asked them to enlarge in the boundaries. And that's the yellow line, that's the blue line, that's the red line, and that's the bright green line, where we're saying we want to get to these areas. But in a nutshell, I come to you with that. One, looking for stories, newspaper articles, clippings, and photographs that you might be willing to share. Once you share them with us, they are public information, just accessible to the public. While we were in this meeting, I was scanning a website called The Portal to Texas History and looking at old newspapers, and I couldn't find any articles. I am aware that these neighborhoods originally were marketed to African Americans post-World War II, and that's one of the reasons they're eligible for listing. I'll just add one side story. This same thing just happened in Pleasantville in Northeast Houston, and that neighborhood, Mary Fontenot was very active there. She really, as a community activist, made that recognition happen in Pleasantville. She made the THC and the GLO recognize the historical significance of the neighborhood. When she broke that barrier, broke them down, then they realized, oh, we better look at other neighborhoods in Houston, and that's how this came about. So I'm going to stop there, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Okay, Roman, you work with GLOW, or you with Housing Community Development Office with the city?
I work in the same office with Lindsay, who's kind of hosting the meeting right here. I can see her on my screen. I work with her in the City of Houston Planning Department, but in the Historic Preservation Division.
Okay, because I'm asking East Sunnyside Court 3 subdivision. We've been having that problem with them building homes in our area and not utilizing the texture of the subdivision. Most homes over here was built brick, and they coming with something else. And they were asking our president to sign off on something just for this lady to get, and she's in a brick house, but they're gonna tear down and build this other house without the brick facade or anything. So East Sunnyside has history, and they've been here over 50 years. So
Ms. Walker, may I ask you?
Yeah, Deborah.
Deborah, I'm not familiar with East Sunnyside. Question I have is any part of that neighborhood, and it's okay if it isn't, because I'm still going to work for you, but is any part of that, can you recognize this area on the map, or is it too obscure there? Are you able to see the map?
I can't see the map. I'm not looking at what y'all looking at. We have on the screen.
No problem.
The agenda.
Deborah, no problem. Then Deborah, with respect to where you're having this problem, can you give me like some street names that you're in the area there where I needed to figure out where you're, or you can give me an address if you want. I don't want to give you personal information, but I'm trying to figure out.
I'll give you my home address. Is 5022.
Okay.
Ms. Walker, hold on. It's recorded and it's going to be online.
Oh, you want me to put in the text in the
How about
chat?
you email it? Can you email it to me or to Lindsay?
Yeah. Put it in the chat, and I'll get it from there.
I'm going to put my email in the chat instantly here, and again, I want to investigate this, because if that area, I need to know what's going on here. We want to make sure that we do the work. Let's see, Roman McAllen at Houston TX. It's Roman McAllen, Roman.McAllen, like the city in South Texas, Roman.McAllen at HoustonTX.gov, visible to everyone here in the chat. If you will, Deborah, please share with me anything that you are able to there, the Civic Club name, that individual you're speaking to. I can be the advocate there to see if they've begun a house. This in Pleasantville, I think there were some things that were started, but actually they came to a screeching halt once they saw something that they were like, okay, well, when the issue was raised that this area matters and y'all are treating it like it doesn't, and you're giving us these ordinary, not so nice houses, not brick. And I've seen the plans now for the homes in Pleasantville. They're brick veneer. I was pretty impressed. They got pretty close to the original look.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much.
Please email me. We're happy to get on that. Any other questions for me or thoughts? And
Roman, hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
This is Sandra Massey Hines. And I'm interested in getting with you too, because I have a lot of the seniors from that Blue Ridge edition that are a part of my programs. And I'll be speaking with them on Wednesday and a few on tomorrow, because we have opportunities for them to get food and turkey. But I too would like to follow up with you, and I do have your email at roman.mcallen@houstontext.
And I apologize, I just realized Lindsay also has, and she's sharing it with you here also. You can also see Historic Preservation at Houston. That's my office as well. And you see a phone number there as well. And all that, that's right there. There's only 5 of us, or 6 of us. So yes, Sandra, and I'm sorry, your last name was, what was it? Lansing?
It's Sandra, Massie, last name Hines, Hines.
Okay.
I am the honorary mayor of Sunnyside.
All right. Oh, well, honored to meet you then. Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing the information to our attention.
Yes, yes, I'm happy to. And if you need me or someone to speak and to the group you're speaking about, I'm happy to do that as well.
I do. Thank you very much. Many of them had signed up for repairs and had yet to get anything done on it. So I think if it were possible that we could meet with you and share that information with them.
One thing I didn't say is that eligible for listing on the National Register doesn't mean that the neighborhood will be listed on the National Register. They're 2 different things. Just the fact that the neighborhood is eligible causes that reaction in the way the money is spent. I don't even anticipate, no one has said to me that the neighborhood is going to be listed. Although listing is harmless, any property, building, and you've all seen like a marker, this property or this building is listed on the National Register of Historic Places or a neighborhood, that comes with no burdens, that comes with no legal obligations. It's really honorific, but still, we're not doing that. Now, it could be, I'm working in our office since I have, and I know there are a lot of people here, I am working on an ordinance for a new type of district called a conservation district, new to Houston, called a conservation district. And that's going to be like a form of a historic district with a little bit more liberty, freedom on the buildings and how they're worked on. I want to make that kind of district because I feel like because we know that there are areas of Houston that may not qualify for the full historic district because maybe during urban renewal, a lot of homes were demolished and there's vacant land, so there's missing buildings and things like that. But yet those neighborhoods are culturally significant, and those neighborhoods are feeling development pressure, and they're getting new buildings that don't fit within the neighborhood, and those neighborhoods can't get to the historic district level, but maybe they can get to this new level if we can get it passed city council, which God willing will happen sometime in the first quarter of 2022. So that could be a form of a district. But like I said right here, this is something that's behind the scenes that kind of has happened. And our office is hotly working on the emails and helping to define the boundaries here. But there could be a neighborhood, as Deborah was saying, that may not be even on this map, or that you're speaking of, that we need to assist the GLO and THC in recognizing.
We have a hand raised, Tianka. Forgive me if I messed your name.
No, you said it right. My name is Tianka Gillard. I'm a resident of South Park. My question is, Roman was saying that the Blueridge community is not an official historic neighborhood. So how do we go about, and what steps do we take into making the community an historic community?
The city,
and also, what's the significant difference between a historic community and one that's on the conservation list.
Okay, Ms. Guillory, the city presently has historic districts. There's kind of two things the city does. It either makes a historic district, of which there are 22 in Houston, or it makes a landmark out of an individual building. If you Google City of Houston Historic Preservation, we've got all the information right there about that, and the form, and even an application to apply to make a historic district. To make a district, you define an area of property that can be very small, a block, up to multiple blocks, up to, in Houston, the largest district is Glenbrook Valley over by Hobby Airport, which is over 1,000 houses, which was kind of contentious when it was made. And we still work with that neighborhood today. Some people probably feel like the historic district's a little too much. Some people feel they want to make changes to their houses that the historic designation is not allowing them to do. It's not reasonable. By that, what I mean is all exterior alterations to your structure have to be approved by our office, and they have to fit a certain kind of context. I don't want to take too much time, but that's the difference, is that we're still working on that difference. The conservation district will be a new tool that's a lot lighter touch than that. But look at that page. If you want to talk about a district, please let us know. We're happy to help.
Roman, can you drop that link in the chat? In terms of historic designation, though, just to be clear, this process is already starting. The main reason it's well, not main reason. One of the reasons it's important is for the GLO funds that could be made available. So if you're looking at the slide, which is slide 14, I also don't know why Teams is like being weird, but it's slide 14 if you can click through yourself. The top right of the map, just to give you some context, that's Worthing High School. So the top right is Worthing, and then you have Sims Bayou is the wavy line at the bottom. So all of that area to the left is what we're looking at needing information. Now, in terms of historic information, any oral history, it can be, oh, there used to be this here. It doesn't have to be somebody famous stay there or highly famous. Just any oral history or photographs that you can provide. The historic team really just needs information because there's very little that is recorded of this area. And as we know, in Black and Brown communities, that was oftentimes the case. So we are trying to restore some history records in this area of just being able to connect the dots and push for the historic designation.
So why would y'all outline the yellow when all of those are apartments and duplexes instead of single family homes?
When the team drove around, when the historic team drove around, they looked to see what looked like visually. It was done around the same time. So at first the red box was what was indicated. And when they did their driving tour is when they said, we don't really see a huge distinction between these other areas, so we want to include them too. So they are looking not only just on information on that small box, but all of it, because they would like to make the entire area part of the historic designation. So they want to really include all of it in the submission.
So why would you just single out Riverbrook? That community is called Riverbrook. So why would they single out just one section of apartments and not the whole section of the apartments going south towards Sims Bayou?
I'm not sure. It may have been very different architectural styles. Roman maybe can speak to how they do the riding tours and what they're looking for.
Sure. Yes, that's exactly right, Lindsay. And I saw an email about it, sir, where they were, it seemed to be that they actually knew we were creating some maps to show when the different structures were created. And it's possible that the structures south of the yellow box down to Sims were built in later decades. In fact, I saw a map that listed the number of buildings built within the different decades. In order to be eligible for listing on the National Register, the majority of the structures have to be older than 50 years old. So if we're 2021, do the math there, got to get back to 50 years. And so that may be it, that the concentration of buildings 50 years or older. However, sir, if you think we don't have that right, please email me. You can school me right now. Again, please, what you're saying. I see that there are the units or the structures below, and it doesn't matter if the structures are single family or apartment or commercial. It's not required for this this impact to happen, for this area to be eligible for listing on the National Register. It makes no difference whether they're it could even be industrial buildings for that matter. What happens here, mainly they're looking for a cohesiveness of architectural style, also a cohesiveness of the history of the place. So they don't have to really match, although what I'm hearing is a lot of these homes are of that same period or of a similar period.
And also the apartment complexes, that some of those that were excluded, not within the yellow, were, like you said, 40, 50 years old, and some match the other. But you have Riverbrook neighborhood, you have Blueridge neighborhood showing, then you also have Reedwood neighborhood that's farthest to the west, up around the blue area. But when you talk about the designation, when they roll through this area, a lot of the homes are or have been changed and upgraded since they've been originally built. So how does the new upgraded homes, y'all allow for that to be included in this designation? Because I'm still waiting on the same information for the historic Sunnyside neighborhood, which is just north of Reed Road, that's not shown on the map, which I haven't gotten anything back in several months. So how do y'all incorporate the old and original with the new and improved in that same area you're talking about?
If someone, all right, let me see here. Okay, let's take, for example, it doesn't matter which box you choose there, but for argument's sake, let's just say this whole area. Let's say that they're going to say this whole, everything you see here is eligible for listing on the National Register. When they do that, some homes are going to be so-called contributing homes or structures, meaning that the structures have enough architectural integrity to the period of significance. The period of significance referring to when they put a label, they make it up, they say, well, this area matters because between 1950, I'm gonna make up these dates, between 1950 and 1970, this area was developed. And it was developed, for certain people or not certain people, or by certain architects or certain developers or certain this, that, or the other. In that area between 1950 and 1970, they call that the period of significance. The reason the area matters is that period. So then the structures that are of that period and not too significantly altered will be called contributing. Other homes, for example, that maybe they took all the windows out, they took the siding off, they made huge additions in the front yard, you no longer can recognize it as what it was. Then those would be non-contributing. And then if the reason it matters in this story and why I'm here is if the government land office is going to work on one of those non-contributing structures, they don't have that $200,000 cap. They'd be back at that $60,000 cap. And they probably, I guess what they build back would still need to fit within. but mainly the main thing is they wouldn't be concerned with that structure. So to what you're saying, a home might be, or structure can be changed and it can still be contributing. And I've, you could have a few, but if you look at it, and this is a kind of subjective, but there are a lot of people, including myself, who arguably think they know what they're talking about when they look at them. But you get the idea. You look at that structure, and it still looks like that one-story post-World War II house in its general shape and form. Then that's most likely going to be a contributing structure. I know that's a lot. I'm sorry, but I hope I'm making some sense there.
Yeah, that's fine, because a lot of the new homes that I see built over there, they're modern, up-to-date, contemporary, where they've torn down the original structures and put in new.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Well, Roman, thank you for joining us. In the interest of time, we're going to move forward. The links are in the chat as well as on Let's Talk Houston, and you'll get a follow-up email. And if you know anyone who may have information, or anyone who's lived there, or if you have information, please don't hesitate to reach out so we can really make sure those homes get to capitalize on those GLO funds.
Thank you.
No problem. So next, we're going to move on to our action plan project. We, in the Planning and Development Department, have jump-started an initiative called All Lights on Houston, and this would fit in our safety category. This is where if you have street lamps that are out, if you have trees that are in the way, or if you have an area that needs more lighting. We are now pushing our All Lights on Houston campaign to try and help educate residents on how to get those things fixed in their neighborhoods. But each neighborhood is also going to have a All Lights On captain, and we need a captain for Sunnyside. That captain's duties will have an initial meeting on December 8th. They'll be able to meet with 311, Centerpoint, and Public Works and ask all of their questions. The cost of, and I don't want to misquote, but the cost of a new light post is actually not super substantial. So if there's areas that need lighting, those funds may be covered, or we may be able to get those funds from other sources. So we just want to identify a captain who can help determine where streetlights are out, help us identify where there are trees blocking streetlights, as well as where there's need of lighting. And the safety group, which is everyone, will meet with that captain, kind of go over their findings as well. And the captain's job will be to just make sure that all of these things are followed up. The reason we want a captain is because I want to help residents advocate for themselves and teach them ways that they can be their own advocates, and not have them dependent on one person or one group. This is information that everybody should be able to navigate. And if we can identify a resident who will help lead that charge, then we will work together to make sure that we, one, get all the lights on in Sunnyside, and all the trees cut and new lighting in areas that are in desperate need of them. But also that this effort continues, that it's not a one-stop campaign, and that it ends when all of this is done. So, we have a volunteer. Thank you, Ms. Saya. So we have a Sunnyside captain. Wonderful. So I will follow up. Ms. Saya has volunteered. I don't know if you want to come on and say hello. Introduce yourself as our new All Lights On captain.
Hello, you can't really see me because my light's over here not that great. Can't get this light to stay on. But anyway, I'm newly retired, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help improve our community to the best of my ability. And I have no problem riding around in the evening, checking on those lights and whatever may be covering them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I will follow up with our captain meeting. Again, you'll be able to meet directly with Centerpoint 3-1 and Public Works, and they have a lot of in-depth information on how this works. And we were told that the turnaround on these things is not long, so we should be able to identify them quickly and within a few months or a month, get the lights back on and get trees cut and things of that nature.
Excellent.
Thank
I'm
you
ready.
for volunteering. Awesome. So next, we're going to move on to the Houston Financial Empowerment Center. Did you jump off? Sorry, I can't really see. There you go. So I'm going to spotlight you for everyone to meet you. And feel free to take it away.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marcus Hill. I am the financial counselor for the Houston Financial Empowerment Center. I am stationed in the Sunnyside area in the Sunnyside Multi-Service Center. We are open for business. The Houston Financial Empowerment Center is an initiative that was started by Mayor Turner shortly before the pandemic, but we are in the neighborhood to service Houston area residents who need help with finances, whether that's building credit, decreasing their debt, making sure they're accessing safe and affordable bank accounts, and also establishing an emergency fund and continuing to build that for whatever emergency or situation we may face next. I'm usually in the office in Sunnyside on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's a by appointment only, but I can drop my contact information in the chat, and you also have it there on the screen. But we're here to help Houston area residents to get themselves prepared for the holidays and going into the new year. If there's resolutions or plans on becoming more financially stable, that's what we want to do. All our services are free and confidential, and it's a service to our Houston area residents. So we're there to serve. We also have offices in the Acres Homes area at the Acres Homes Multi-Service Center, and in Magnolia at the Magnolia Multi-Service Center as well. So we're canvassing the city. We have 6 financial counselors ready to serve our residents. And if you have any questions or anything you need to get in contact with me about, I'm more than happy to help. I have a son that goes to KIPP on Scott, so I'm fully invested in the Sunnyside area and just looking to help any way that I can. So please get in contact with me and see how we can help our Sunnyside area residents as well as other areas of the city.
Thank you, Marcus. It's nice to meet you.
You as well, Lindsay.
Excited you could join us in Sunnyside. Does anybody have any questions? We have someone lighting up. I don't know if you're on the phone, it's *6.
Lindsay, this is Sandra Hines.
Hi, Mayor Hines.
Okay, he mentioned he was open Tuesdays through Thursdays. He didn't mention a time.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, Mayor Hines, usually from 9 to 5, but I am flexible. So if area residents, if that's not convenient for them, we can definitely schedule another time by appointment.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other questions? And Marcus, if you don't mind, if you could drop your information in the chat and how they can schedule an appointment, even if it's just to have somebody quickly look at your budget or look at your financial situation. It really is an amazing free service that people with a lot of money pay a lot of money to utilize. So
most definitely.
It's a great wealth building tool. So please take full advantage of that in our area so we can start building the wealth in Sunnyside as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll drop my contact information in the chat.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So we're gonna move to the end of the agenda for tonight, to the community announcements. Don't know what happened. No. I said no to my food. Oh, thank you, bye. I'm on camera. We have a few traffic concerns in Sunnyside, so I'm just gonna warn you, the video is a little dramatic before I push play. There's a speed bump application. I'm gonna play the video and then pass it off. She's still on.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Abiola. I am the digital strategy manager and a resident here of Sunnyside. And actually, the video that you see was captured by my camera, and is the 5th accident of that type that has been going on here in the past 2 years. I've reached out to officers for patrolling on speed, because I've noticed that a lot of the streets here in the block between Reed and Belfort do not have speed signs. So you can say people are speeding, but there's no speed signs for them to know what the speed limit is. So I did submit an application with the council's office, and they did reply saying that for the speed limit, I needed to do a 311 application, which I did, and I sent them the number. So we'll see if that goes anywhere. But for speed bumps, which is not just on the Edgar and Alvin block, which was where most of those accidents had happening, but it's throughout the residential street that go between Belfort and Reed and the other areas around here. There is an application that's coming in, and it's something that Melanie Young and I proposed last year. We just saw that coming in through the city, and you probably received a piece of mail asking you to approve or do not approve that change. But just to make sure that we are heard, we're trying to ask for this change in different avenues. So one thing that Melanie and I would like your support with is we need to collect signatures. So the city council asked us to collect signature from residents that in order to ask for this application for the speed bumps, because otherwise they want us to pay them, and they're $4,000 per speed bump. Don't necessarily have that, just give, for speed bumps. But if we put our strength together as a community, we might be able to actually get that change made. So I know Lindsay mentioned earlier the task force and the website that Melanie shared on the website and on the chat. So you should see an email coming to you from us there. And we will try to set up maybe an hour during the weekend for people to come by the location, and we'll decide later for signature, because they have to be in person. So I'm hoping to get everyone's support to try and reduce this type of accident in our neighborhood. I like seeing the kids walking to school in the morning and just seeing this type of things. There could have been someone on the sidewalk, and it would not be a good outcome. So look out for the email, and looking forward to making some change with you all. Thank you. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you so much, and thank you for bringing this to our attention. And if there's something I can do in terms of an in-person signing event or helping pass the application along, please let me know. For our civic leaders that are on the call, if you don't mind, if you could put your contact information in the chat. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you so they can get their groups to sign it, if they have upcoming meetings or church activities or whatever it may be, that would be, I think this is something that everybody can agree on that they would want, safer roads and neighborhoods. So let's just make sure we can get those signatures so you don't have to come up with that cost.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Aren't the responses due tomorrow for the, I guess the thing they put in the mail?
Yes, they are. It was November 19th, I believe. So yes, you're correct. So if you did receive it, please send it in. I think it will go by stamp date. And you can also respond online. So you'll be able to go to the website that they provided on the letter. And so that's one application that we did last year. So the one for the signature is another application that we sent in this year. So we're just trying to get to them from different areas and see which one gets the response first.
Yes, it will go by stamp date. So if you have those at home, please send those in or get them mailed off tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Next, we have the Sunnyside Community Redevelopment Organization, and Ms. Walker actually sent me a flyer that I'm going to share. Can everyone see the flyer? No. Can anyone see the flyer?
Yes.
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 Okay. Ms. Walker, would you like to speak? I'm not sure what happened, but as you can see, there are free COVID vaccines on December 3rd, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 4542 Briscoe Street. You don't need insurance. You don't need ID. You can walk up, and gift cards will be given out to those who receive their first dose of the COVID vaccine. Stop sharing that one. Ms. Engelhardt, are you still here?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to share your flyer.
Okay. Is it the one on the midst?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hello, how are you? I'm Diane Eigelhart. I'm a member of the Houston chapter of the Links, and we are a sub-grantee with the Houston in Action agency to educate the community and to also have COVID vaccination events. And we are going to work primarily in 2 targeted zip codes, South Park 77033 and Sunnyside 77051. And the reason for that is because there's still a low percentage of residents that live in those 2 zip codes that have not been vaccinated. And we are really going to make efforts and initiatives to get that taken care of so that we can have a healthy community. And we're looking at being vaccinated as being a part of self-care. So she's showing you a flyer that we created that is giving you facts about being vaccinated versus the myths that we often hear. So that when you're making your decision, it's based on facts. When you make your personal decision on being vaccinated, that you do make it based it on facts versus the myths. We are going to have an event on December 18th at Greater St. Matthew's Baptist Church, which is in South Park, one of our targeted zip codes, on December 18th. And we are introducing ourselves to the neighborhood. We're encouraging you to come out because this is very important for the health of our city and the health of our community so that we can continue to thrive and do all those wonderful things that I heard you talking about before I came on board here. And we hope you can join us. And one added feature that we will have at the event
is we will have medical professionals there. Sometimes people need to talk to people about their medical condition to dispel the myths. And we will have them on hand for any questions and so forth. You can have a personal conversation, a confidential conversation with that person. And we think that is an added feature. And I've heard so many wonderful people online. So we are welcoming partnership with other people and other organizations. So please reach out to us. I am on the phone because I told Lindsay at the onset, I do have problems with Microsoft Teams and my technology, and I often get on, but I get kicked off. So what I did this time to alleviate that problem was just to be via audio phone. But Lindsay has my information, and we welcome any collaborations or partnerships and hope to see you on December 18th. And please encourage your neighbors and family. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll also be sure to share those flyers and that information on the Let's Talk Houston page.
Thank you. That helps a lot.
Greg Rose dropped in our chat. Can I open this? Greg, do you want to speak about the flyer in the chat, and I can try and figure out how I can get it open to share?
Okay. Hey everyone, Greg Rose, Community Economic Development for Prairie View University. We have an opportunity to do a partnership with the Houston Furniture Bank. So if you know of anyone who is in need of furniture due to the freeze, the hurricane, the flood, COVID, if they're in need of furniture, we do have a couple of resources where we are able to give out some vouchers. They can contact me. The flyer is in the chat. You can either email me or give me a call. That's my cell phone because I'm hardly ever in the office. So if you know of someone, feel free to share the flyer, or if you yourself are in need of furniture. As of right now, it's no cost to those residents that are in Harris County. So we have the vouchers to do it. We have a couple left over. But we're also looking for volunteers. I'm planning an event on December 11th where we'll go to the Houston Furniture Bank and assemble furniture. While they have a lot of furniture, they get furniture kind of on the weekly, and some of it's brand new furniture. They get it from various furniture stores. They get it from donations. And while they donate the furniture to residents of Harris County that are in need, they also have furniture that's in boxes that needs to be assembled. So I'm looking to put together some volunteers to do furniture assembly on December 11th. I will share a flyer once I confirm with Houston Furniture Bank. But again, I'll drop my contact information as well in the chat. It's on the flyer. I have no problem dropping it on chat. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We also like our special guest that you brought along. Hey, cutie pie. Sorry. Are there any other community announcements? Is there anything else that anyone would like to share? I know we're 4 minutes past, so I just want to be respectful of everybody's time, but I do want to make sure that everyone gets the opportunity to speak if they want to say something.
Lindsay, I have some events coming up.
Okay, go right ahead.
And I also have a senior that's 100 years old. She needs some incontinence supplies as well as water. So if anybody would like to help with that, please let me know. And I'm having to use the phone. I could not get in otherwise. But we have a number of turkey and food outreach. There's a lot of seniors asking, and I'm being overwhelmed. My senior that was 108 passed her services tomorrow, and then they're doing the event for Dr. Harmon, who is a great friend of mine. I'm trying to get to that, so I'm not going to be able to call all of the seniors, but East Macedonia Church is giving away food. All of these are November the 20th at 8630 Duane Street. from 8 to 10. And I'd just like everybody to just pass these on. Worthing is providing a food giveaway, a great food giveaway from 8 to 1 at 9215 Scott. Boris Miles is having his turkey giveaway. That's going to be at Sunnyside Park. He have other locations, but I'm just stressing Sunnyside. He'll be at Sunnyside Park, 3 p.m. All of these are November the 20th. And that's at 3502 Belford. They'll be in the back parking lot. And the Black Firefighters are giving away turkey baskets. That'll be November the 23rd. At the Firefighters Local, 4919 Reed at 10 a.m. And then on December the 18th, I'm taking 5 busloads of kids to a grand party downtown, but they have to be registered. So, Lindsay, I don't know if you could put my number in the chat, because I don't have access to do that. But it'll be from 10 o'clock to 2, December the 18th.
Put your cell phone number in the chat.
Yes, would you please?
Sure. Also, this meeting is being recorded, so I'm going to put this recording on Let's Talk Houston as well, because I know some of that was a little quick.
Hi, this is Councilmember Carolyn Evans Shabazz again. I wanted to make a couple of announcements for some events that are taking place tomorrow. I don't think the mayor mentioned them. One is we're having a community baby shower tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the YWCA on Martin Luther King. It's in partnership with the YWCA and Amazon and my office, and it's going to be at 10 a.m. to 1. So if you want to come out and you need some items for a baby, then please come to the baby shower tomorrow. And then also on tomorrow at 1 o'clock at Unity Bank on Blodgett, there will be a turkey giveaway. And along with the turkey giveaway, you will get a voucher for the fixings that go with it. And it's a drive-through, and it's 1 turkey and voucher per car. So if you want to come over there, that's tomorrow. And I thank you, Ms. Hines, for all of those other events. And then if you go to District D Houston on Facebook, I think, and Instagram, if you all do all of that, then there are generally some announcements. And if you get an opportunity to maybe listen in on council, at the end pop off, I give all of the events that I'm aware of that are taking place for that week up until that following Tuesday. And so everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. I think this has been a great meeting. Please make sure that I get the notes, because I want to be able to, engage with the Parks Department regarding getting some of these things done that have been requested. So thank you so very much, everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councilwoman, for joining. And thank you for your continued efforts in Sunnyside, as well as your district. She really is working for y'all in all the meetings. So
thank you.
She's doing the work.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Thank you, Councilwoman Shabazz. This is Deborah Walker, Sunnyside Community Redevelopment Organization. And I wanted to let Sunnyside know that we did a deployment of air monitors in Sunnyside. We deployed 5 monitors in Sunnyside in zip code 77033 and 77051. And so we are getting the data from the monitors of what we are breathing and what's going on in our community and everything. We also are going to be meeting with the EPA administrators coming in to Houston from Louisiana. He did a South Belt tour of the marginalized communities that's having environmental issues, and Louisiana and Texas is one of them. So we'll be meeting with him along with some more environmental activists in Houston tomorrow morning. I just want to share that with you all. And also we having Soro is having a vaccine, Pfizer vaccine on December the 3rd. and I think you would get a voucher, card or something, not for sure. But I was trying to put the flyer in there, but I'll make it, send it to your office, and they can put it into the newsletter or something. But thank you for your time, patient. It was a good meeting and good informative meeting as well. Thank you, Lindsay, for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you all. We are 11 past the hour. Greg dropped another event, Emancipation Avenue Market, in the chat. All of these flyers, again, I will post just on Let's Talk Houston. If you ever have anything that you want to send out to the community, or an event that's coming up, please send it over to me, or there's even a place on Let's Talk Houston where you can load your own news. And if you're interested in knowing what's going on, be sure to check Let's Talk Houston, maybe make it a habit on a weekly basis. I have not figured out a way to send you updates every time I update it, but you probably wouldn't want those because it is sometimes several times a day. So if you just check on Mondays or maybe 2 or 3 times during the week, it would be great. With that, I'm going to stop presenting. The meeting recording will also be on Let's Talk Houston. So anything we would discuss, you need to rewind. I know Mayor Hines spoke of a lot of events that I tried to capture in the chat, but I probably didn't do it correctly. I've also put her number in the chat as she asked. So if there's anything that you missed, you'll be able to tap in and rewind. And the survey for the Grimes Park initiative will also be up on Let's Talk Houston. So it's letstalkhouston.org/Sunnyside. Thank you all for your continued efforts. Thank you all for making Sunnyside really great in your own ways and being willing to step up to the plate and take on anything that we need to really move the needle forward in this area. If there is nothing.
And thank you, Lindsay, so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. If there's
Lindsay,
yes.
Would you please have the gentleman from the Houston Furniture Bank? I captured his information, but I did not capture his name. I didn't understand.
That is Greg Rose, and I think he put his information in the chat, but I'll make sure to include that on Let's Talk Houston in the summary of your point of contact to get in touch with him.
All right,
and also
thank you so much.
what's the meeting. So everybody has all of the information. And if you want to, District D has its own newsletter, the District D Digest. Also on Instagram and Facebook, if you're looking for them, it is District D Houston TX. So you can follow along there for anything happening in the district or that the councilwoman mentioned as well. So I try to make sure I'm posting everybody's items, but just in case, it's always good to check 2 sources. So if nobody has anything else, we can leave. I'm sorry we're 14 minutes over, but I hope everybody has an amazing Thanksgiving and find something that we can all be grateful for. And one thing I'm grateful for is to have a really substantial, hardworking, dedicated community like you all. And that's not me being cheesy, that's the truth. Yeah. Good evening. I'm gonna end it.
Thanks much. Have a good night.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving. All right. Not being cheesy, that's cute.